surrounded by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now. Hey, start the show.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
Ladies, gentlemen, and whoever else is listening to this, welcome to a new installment. That's right, a new installment of the Progess Wrestling Podcast. This will be a Chapter 3 review, 50 Shades of Pain. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Anthony Walker, as it always is, as part of the Wrestling Matters Podcast production. Now, hope you've all enjoyed your week. Hope you enjoyed the previous episodes of this podcast as well. Be sure to check it all out on YouTube, SoundCloud, OSW TV, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, but make sure you check out the SoundCloud page as well, soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast, and follow, and you'll get all of them, and you'll be able to download them as well. Download these episodes on there as well, so be sure to check that out. Without further ado though, ladies and gents, boys and girls, children of all ages, and whoever else is listening to this, wrestling fans all over the world, it is now time for the Progess Wrestling Podcast review of Chapter 3. That's right, as part of the Wrestling Matters Podcast, #WM Podcast. Now, 50 Shades of Pain kicked off with Paul Robinson, many of you guys may know him for a brief stint in ICW, going one-on-one with Noam Dar. Now, chain wrestling to start, Dar working on arm of Paul, even still, believe that. Backslide, Dar, a one count, gets a backslide again and gets a near fall. Dar gets an advantage grabbing the leg, gets kicked outside, then takes a kick from Paul. Paul gets a near fall out of it. Dar hits a drop kick to the knee, gets a near fall, looking to work on the legs. Noam Dar in total control. Dar wearing out Paul on the mat. Dar throwing kicks, Paul asking for more and gets poked in the eyes. Paul fighting back but gets drop kicked off the second rope inside. Dar looking for a count out victory. Robbo dives, Paul Robinson that is, dives on Dar. Springboard right hand gets Paul a near fall. Dar using dirty tactics, wow, not easy to say, manages to hit Paul in the face. Then Paul flattens Dar with a super kick. Paul gets caught in an airplane spin, then Dar hits a perfect press, gets a near fall, misses the double stomp, then Paul hits the Sami Zayn bomb, which he does, which is the back suplex, and then turns it around into a powerbomb move and gets a near fall. Paul misses the leg drop, Dar hits an enziguri, then a perfect press, gets a near fall, then locks in his fisherman buster, then Dar locks in the leg lock and makes Paul tap out. So, pretty good technical match to start off the show. Now for the BWC Scarlo Scholarship title match, which started basically at Chapter 2 involving Mark Andrews and Xander Cooper, the former champion. Chain wrestling to start, Mark getting the advantage out of one step ahead of Cooper so far. Mark counters a Statman, hits a Hurricane Rana. Mark takes a kick to the jaw off a sunset flip attempt. By the way, Mark Andrews is better known now as Mandrews in TNA, if he's still in TNA. Cooper hits a dual action neck breaker, gets a near fall. Mark fights back but runs into a drop kick. Cooper gets a near fall off that. Mark hits 3 kicks and an enziguri, then a full Nelson bomb, then hits a springboard crossbody and gets a near fall. Mark hits Northern Light suplex, then a moonsault senton. Cooper hits a single arm DDT and gets a near fall. Cooper misses moonsault but hits a straight jacket backstabber, brutal move, a newer variation of the backstabber, and gets a near fall. Mark kicks Cooper, goes up top, hits the shooting star press and wins and retains the BWC Scarlo Scholarship Championship. Now to one of the main events of the whole pay-per-view, one of the headline matches, which was the Bastard Squad. That's right, Bastard Squad, you heard me correct, against the London Riot, which Bastard Squad was Darryl Allen and Danny Garnell. the one who beat the man who beat Jimmy Havoc in Chapter 2. Fight is on the outside to start off, a brawl. Alan dives in the ring. Alan gets advantage with an arm drag. Davis trying to slow things down but takes a Hurricane Rana. Alan hip tosses Davies into his partner while sat on the chair outside. Alan hits a thresh press and unloads on Lynch. Bastard Squad looking to isolate Lynch. Chop fight in the ring. Danny hits a German suplex, then a DDT gets a near fall. Davis hits rolling senton to get advantage to Riot, but Alan tagged in, hits a dropkick from the top. Alan monkey flips Lynch into Davies. Alan hits curtain call like suplex, which is he lifts him up and then spins him around like a corkscrew in the midair. I believe Goldust used it one time for a curtain call finisher. Alan then locks his AJ Lee's old finishing move, that submission that she used to do, but then takes a face buster. Davies gets a near fall. London Riot's looking to isolate Alan. Lynch hits a double underhook brain buster and gets a near fall. London Riot working on Alan. Lynch hits double stomp on Alan, gets a near fall. Alan in trouble, fighting back, hits an enziguri, goes for a tag. Lynch stops that, isolating Alan, the London Riot, in their corner. Davies hits a suplex, exploded suplex, gets a near fall. Alan uses quickness, tags in Danny. The fight back is on. Swinging DDT by Danny. Lynch spears Danny, then suplexes Alan off the top rope with a belly to belly. Alan kicks Lynch, knocks him out, knocks him down, out, whatever, off the top. Alan goes on top. Riots catch him in midair, hit a massive sit-out powerbomb, and the Riots win the tag team match. Riots not done. Strike a post-match beatdown targeting the leg of Danny. They trap the leg with the chair, put the leg in between the head part of the chair area, and use a cricket bat to hit it with. Danny Allen takes a kick from Lynch, and the London Riots declare war on Progress Wrestling. Now for the main event of the first half of the show, which was Jimmy Havoc versus John Ryan. A very unique turnout for this match, to be honest. It was supposed to be a technical wrestling match. It didn't end that way. John slaps Jimmy. Jimmy then takes the fight to him. Feeling each other out so far. John working the arm on Jimmy. Jimmy manages to hit a Hurricane Rana on John. Then John goes outside. John hits Jimmy with a pan. John gets disqualified and Jimmy wins. However, that was not the end of the match. Jimmy insults John and wants a hardcore match and gets it. Boss says, fucking kill each other. I don't care. Jimmy gets what he wants. So it ended up being Jimmy Havoc versus John Ryan in a hardcore match. John whacking Jimmy with a cane, working the cut on Jimmy till Jimmy returns the favour, which the cut was based off that pan shot. Jimmy hits hard with a pan, now gets a cheese grater and uses it on John. Advantage Jimmy, match turned into a bloodbath. John now uses weapons, then Jimmy uses cane. This is a brawl. John takes a backdrop on the floor. Jimmy gets powerbombed on an ironing board, but John only gets a near fall out of it. John gets a stapler, staples the ref's gloves to Jimmy, one on the chest and one on the back area. John then staples the jewels of Jimmy, the Jimmy Havoc jewels, and gets a near fall out of it. How do you pin someone after that? Jimmy hits super kick, throws a chair on John, gets a 2 count. No, Jimmy hits a super kick through a chair on John, gets a 2 count. My bad. Jimmy sets John up on chair and gets the revenge with the ref's gloves. Bud takes a hip toss on the chair and gets a near fall. John, that is. John uses a bat with pins, hits Jimmy in the back and gets a near fall out of it. Thumbtacks are out, or pins as they called it, and Jimmy manages to hit a DVD into the thumbtacks and gets a near fall. Jimmy now brings in a barbed wire board in, sets up 2 chairs, puts the board on. John hits a low blow to stop Jimmy. Jimmy fights off John on the second rope. John goes into the pins. Jimmy hits a senton, gets a near fall. Jimmy hits double stomp on the barbed wire board that he laid on top of John, driving the barbed wire into John, gets a near fall. John hits a package tombstone, yes you heard me, a package tombstone, onto the pins, and then throws Jimmy, and Jimmy head bounces off the barbed wire board, and John gets the win. The crowd cheer both men, and both men go off for a beer after that, which was just a brutal match, and that match stole the show of this very chapter, no doubt about it. And if you don't believe me, sign up for Progress Wrestling, subscribe to their on-demand service, which is exactly the same as you will get if you subscribe to ICW. It adds to the account as well. If you already got an account on there, it adds to the account. And I think CCW's up there as well. CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling, even up there as well. So, but be sure to check out the Progress Wrestling one if you want to see this, because it was just a brutal. Chapter 3's up there, Chapter 4's up there, which I'll be reviewing next week. It's just, at the moment right now, I'm loving it. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call a quick time out there. That is part 1 done. I'll be back right after these messages with part 2, so stay tuned. If you're a fan of the Wrestling Matters podcast, be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters podcast Twitter page at WM Podcast for news, reviews, and upcoming episodes, and you will be let know on various other topics as well in the world of professional wrestling. So if you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, be sure to follow the Wrestling Matters podcast on Twitter at WM Podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Be sure to tune in every single Tuesday now for the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra, where I'll be hosting a podcast on one promotion and one promotion only. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, the hottest promotion in Scotland. Well, I'll be reviewing their shows.
Oh my God!
Talking ICW.
That's 13-14!
And who knows, maybe getting some guests on. So be sure to tune in to the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra ICW podcast, Insane Championship Wrestling, every Tuesday on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, downloaded free at iTunes, Mixcloud, and SoundCloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name. Here we fucking go!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of this Progess Wrestling podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it so far, and without further ado, I'll get right into part 2, which started off with Rob Cage versus RJ Singh. Now, this match, in a way, did not last long, well, as long as I expected it to go. Advantage Singh, Cage looking to wrestle Singh, short clothesline, power slam, and wheelbarrow facebuster by Cage. Singh takes electric chair drop, gets a near fall, Cage that is. Running boot, Singh gives Singh the advantage. Singh's men get involved, Singh gets a near fall. Roll through boot, the headbutt to the ribs by Cage. Reverse ace crusher gets a near fall for Singh. Toe to toe in the ring, Cage hits a lung blow, which is a code breaker. I believe that one he used, or that version he used, was called the Slam Dunk, if you're an ICW fan and a fan of Wolfgang. Running knee by Singh, Cage mounts a fight back, hits a belly to belly suplex, gets a near fall. Drop kick to the knee of Singh, Cage hits a Shining Wizard, then hits the personal assistant with a Shining Wizard. Cage goes up top, director shoves him off, Singh locks in the submission and gets the victory. Singh shakes hands, then kicks Cage between the legs and locks in the submission and gives him a post-match beatdown. So, with that being said, we'll go into another match that took place in Chapter 2. Styx wanted revenge against Lion Kid. Styx talks and says Lion Kid got lucky and calls him out. Styx attacks Kid from the start. The referee checks on him, and apparently he got a leg injury after that, which is the story of the match. Kid hits head scissors takedown, power advantage with Styx as he hits a bossman slam and gets a near fall. Styx working the leg of Kid on the mat, slowing the quicker Kid down. Leg takedown, Kid throwing kicks, then gets a roll up, gets a near fall. Styx locks in a single leg crap. Styx slowing down Kid, ripping the mask, well, looking to rip the mask off. Chops are not working for Styx, toe to toe in the ring. Kid kick rocks Styx, but Styx hits a power slam. Single leg swing by Styx, Styx toying with the Kid now. Styx working on the knee, Kid fires back, kicks to the back of the head. Kid goes for a springboard, leg gives out. Final cut move by Kid, which was the reverse DDT position, and then puts his right arm over him and drives him down to the mat, and he gets a near fall out of it. Big fall away, top rope suplex by Styx, gets him a near fall, which was using the fall away position move, and then he switched it round into a suplex. Great move. Advantage Styx working on the knees, Kid in deep trouble. Styx locks in a leg lock on top of the rope, on top rope area. Kid hits a small package, gets a near fall, bounces off the ropes, gets a roll up, only gets a near fall. Styx goes goes for a move. Kid turns it into a DDT. Kid goes on top, goes for the 450, lands on his leg, not a good place. Styx hits the Razor's Edge into a powerbomb and gets the victory. Payback for Chapter 2, which the Razor's Edge thing gets him up in the Razor's Edge position and then jumps it up, powerbombs him kind of move. Beautiful, effective move because it won in the match, and like I say, payback for Styx at Chapter 2. Now for the main event, featuring Party Marty Skull as the special guest referee, which saw Greg Burridge, Dave Mastiff tagging against Nathan Cruz, the Progess Wrestling champion, and his #1 contender, or what turned into his #1 contender, El Ligero. Now, Ligero and Greg to start, that is until Ligero tags Cruz in. Great wrestling between Greg and Cruz, both men working the arms. Nice arm drag by Greg. Cruz stops Greg, tags Ligero, Greg tags Dave. Dave showing too much power on Ligero, tags Greg. Dave suplexes Ligero, Greg poking him, and Dave eventually drops him. He gets the one of the hand fan that the fans use, them hand gloves, and just starts poking him when he's up in the air. Dave has him in the air in the suplex, and Greg's just like, poke. It's hilarious. Greg unloads on Ligero. Ligero trying to stop Greg from tagging out. Matt wrestling him, tags Cruz, and Cruz unloads on Greg. Cruz working the leg of Greg. Greg in trouble. Ligero gets tagged. Ligero stopping the tag. Cruz stopping the leg lock submission. Ligero tags in Cruz, working on Greg's leg. Greg cannot run, because his leg gives away. Cruz tags Ligero. Ligero uses the ring post to his advantage, damaging the leg of Greg. Ligero locks in a single leg crab. Dave puts an end to that. Cruz comes in and takes over. No tag. Ligero, Cruz working well, isolating Greg until a fight over who's going to suplex Greg. Like an argument thing. No, I'm going to do it. No, I'm going to do it. No, I'm going to do it kind of thing. Dave gets tagged. Fight back on. Clothesline gets a near fall on Cruz. Another argue goes down. They look to double suplex. Cruz and Ligero look to double suplex Dave, but Dave Mastiff suplexes them both and then hits a deadlift German suplex on Ligero. Codebreaker by Cruz on Dave, then takes 2 clotheslines and a slingshot senton by Greg. Greg gets a near fall, miscue by Ligero. Ligero takes a forearm in the back, then goes toe to toe with Greg in the ring. Greg head scissors take down Cruz outside. Ligero goes up top for the crossbody, and I swear to God, Dave Mastiff just never even moved. It was like a fly going on Dave. It was like a fly just jumping on him. He goes for the crossbody. Mastiff never even flinched. It had no effect. Look, Mastiff's a beast, man. He's a fucking monster. He really is. Ligero goes up top, shoves the ref, Marty Skull, off, hits a double stomp on Mastiff. Ligero goes for the cover. Ref does not count. Ref gets rid of Ligero. Cruz wants to hit him, but Greg stops that. Greg locks in a rolling body vice. Cruz gets out, hits the show stealer, but the ref doesn't count. Cruz argues with the ref. Dave gets rid of Cruz, takes a super kick by Ligero, goes for his move. Cruz tags himself in. Ligero goes for the move, which was a springboard DDT. Cruz tags himself in. He looks to take out Mastiff, Cruz, but runs right into a super kick by Ligero. Mastiff hits the cannonball and gets the win on Cruz. Mastiff gets the mic and says he did what Marty could not do, and that was beat Cruz, and then says Cruz might be the man, but he's not a bastard, and then goes with Greg and they go and have a beer. And I believe Marty joined him as well, because Marty turned around and went, "See you next time, Cruz," and leaves. Cruz is not happy and says he is the Progess champion, and they are dickheads and say he is better than everyone in the locker room, and even insults Ligero, which brings Ligero to come out, take down Cruz, and unload on him until the referee and securities stop that. And then the boss ring announcer, who was actually the co-owner, makes a match for Chapter 4, the main event for Chapter 4, which saw Ligero versus Cruz for the Progess Wrestling title at Ballad of El Ligero, and Ligero flips off Cruz and walks away, and Ligero leaves the arena. And that is the end of the Progess Wrestling review. Hope you enjoyed that. I will give that a 4.5 out of 10 because I really enjoyed that, and like I said, the hardcore match stole the show. Tune in next time, ladies and gentlemen, for Chapter 4, which is the Ballad of El Ligero. And don't forget, ladies and gents, boys and girls, be sure to check out the new episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Be sure to check out the ICW podcast, which was up yesterday. Also, check out Wrestling Matters podcast on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast. Also, check out my live stream this coming Saturday, 6 o'clock UK time, 6 o'clock in the evening UK time. It's a Wrestling Matters video podcast. Be sure to check it out. Go to www.youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters, and it's me giving my predictions for Battleground, because Battleground is July 19th. So I can't wait for that, and I'll give you one prediction right now. We will have a new world champion. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And until next time, I am that H to that E to the A to the D, the head Anthony Walker at your service, as always, each and every week for the Wrestling Matters podcast. And I'll see you next time. Peace.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Professional wrestling, this is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes!
That's 13-14.
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.